Hello there, you're now with me, Henny Gui, and welcome to your 5 p.m. English news on TVS. Let's dive into the news. The Sarawak State Legislative Assembly, whose term is scheduled to end today, will continue to function until August 1st, 2021 by virtue of the declaration of the Emergency for Essential Powers Ordinance 2021. Further notice was also sent to the Chairman of the Election Commission, EC, Dato' Abdul Ghani Saleh, via email on Sunday. DUN Speaker Dato' Amar Muhammad Asfia Awang Nassar in a statement said in the notice it was also informed that state elections will be held on a date decided by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak. As such, all of the 82 honourable members and the cabinet ministers in Sarawak DUN must continue to perform their duties and responsibilities under the umbrella and protection of the emergency ordinance. The power to dissolute the Sarawak DUN is under the jurisdiction of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and the Yang di-Pertuan Negeri Sarawak. The suspension regarding the DUN dissolution and elections will continue as long as the declaration of emergency is in effect. Meanwhile, on the same development, Asfia said the status of Sarawak Assemblymen remains unchanged during period of emergency and until the State Legislative Assembly is dissolved. This is guaranteed under Article 18(1) of the Sarawak State Constitution. The Sarawak State Legislative Assembly remains in effect despite its 5-year term, which last day is today due to the Emergency for Essential Powers Ordinance 2021 promulgated by the Yang di-Pertuan Agong until August 1st. The DUN shall, unless sooner dissolved on June 6, continue for 5 years from the date of its first sitting and shall then stand dissolved pursuant to Article 21(3) of the Sarawak State Constitution. Now, the distribution of AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine for those who have booked an appointment voluntarily in Sarawak will commence tomorrow until the end of July.
Preparations were being made by volunteers at Borneo Convention Centre Kuching, one of the vaccination centres for AstraZeneca vaccine in the state. This includes arranging chairs and installing signboards to facilitate the public tomorrow. Apart from BCCK, another PPV for AstraZeneca vaccine will be open at the National Youth Skills Centre in Miri. On May 26, 1 million slots for the second round of AstraZeneca vaccine appointment bookings for Malaysians under the age of 60 were filled within 90 minutes. Following the overwhelming public response to the vaccine, the government on May 27 restored the vaccine to the COVID-19 National Immunisation Programme mainstream vaccine list. Previously, the decision to implement the voluntary or opt-in method was made after seeing reluctance among the community to receive the AstraZeneca vaccine due to reports linking it to cases of blood clots.
Now, the Ministry of Health, or MOH, and the Institute for Clinical Research, also known as ISCR, have started clinical trials to study the use and efficacy of Ivormectin for high-risk COVID-19 patients at 12 hospitals. Ivormectin is a Food and Drug Administration FDA-approved anti-parasitic drug widely used for treating several neglected tropical diseases. However, the evidence is inconclusive to recommend routine use of Ivormectin for COVID-19 patients. The off-label use of Ivormectin gained global attention due to some promising results from case studies and clinical trials. The FDA has not approved Ivormectin for use in treating or preventing COVID-19 in humans. The World Health Organization only recommends the use of Ivormectin in a clinical trial setting in which patients are monitored closely by experienced clinicians and researchers for safety and efficacy. Therefore, there is an ongoing need for adequately powered, well-designed and well-conducted clinical trials for evidence-based guidance on the role of Ivormectin in the treatment of COVID-19. MOH and ICR have initiated a multi-center open-label randomized controlled trial, the Ivormectin treatment efficacy in COVID-19 high-risk patients, headed by infectious disease physicians at Raja Permaisuri Bainun Hospital in Ipoh and a team of specialists and clinical research centers CRC at 12 MOH hospitals. The trial was approved by the Ministry's Medical Research and Ethics Committee on May 25th, where the study compares ivermectin treatment, specific dose with specific duration, with the standard of care alone. The study would enroll 500 subjects from high-risk groups aged 50 years and above admitted to MOH hospitals with mild or moderate COVID-19 symptoms, stage 2 to 3. Right, 1 million senior citizens nationwide have received the first dose of the vaccine under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program. According to Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Rina Muhammad Harun, a total of 229,462 individuals have completed 2 doses of the vaccination. Meanwhile, the rest received the first dose since the second phase of the vaccination exercise, which prioritizes the senior citizens. In total, 60% of the 3.5 million senior citizens aged 60 and above have registered for vaccination through the MySejahtera application. Rina explained her ministry, through relevant agencies, is also identifying the best method to detect elderly who are homeless to be given the vaccine. She added that all levels of society should play a role and need to be more aggressive to encourage another 40% of the group to register for vaccination. Hello there and welcome back. Now on to the COVID-19 development. Malaysia today recorded 6,241 cases, a slight decrease as compared to 7,452 cases yesterday. The following are the updates on COVID-19 figures in Malaysia and selected countries across the world as of 12 noon today. As of May 31st, globally there has been over 100 million confirmed cases of COVID-19, with over 3 million deaths reported to the World Health Organization. Meanwhile, over 1 billion vaccine doses have been administered globally until June 1st. The United States, India and Brazil remain the top 3 nations with the highest number of positive cases and fatalities. However, countries with higher vaccination rates, including the United States and the United Kingdom, have been reporting a slowdown in new cases. Deaths in UK have fallen drastically, and India is also seeing a daily decline in the new number of cases. The table also indicates the status of some ASEAN nations, including Malaysia, as the COVID-19 pandemic rages on and the vaccination process moves into high gear. Right, the home-based teaching and learning (PDPR) will continue to be the mode of learning once the school session resumes on June 13 and 14. Senior Education Minister Dato' Razzie Jidin explained that PDPR would go on for 25 days until the midterm break on July 16 and 17.
The session is divided into 2 groups, namely Group A, which include the state of Johor, Kedah, Kelantan and Terengganu, and Group B for other states.
Mengambil kira situasi semasa, Kementerian Pendidikan Malaysia telah membuat ketetapan bahawa untuk tempoh 25 hari persekolahan ini, kita akan laksanakan PDPR, iaitu pengajaran dan pembelajaran di rumah.
He added the PDPR session involves not only government schools but also include private, international, expatriate schools registered with the Ministry of Education. Commenting on the complaints on PDPR session, Razzie said his ministry was aware of complaints surrounding PDPR 2.0 manual, which required students to follow many subjects, noting that the manual was only a guide for teachers to achieve the optimum situation to teach their students. At the same time, Razia also announced that the oral and practical science tests for SPM 2021 would be held in February 2022, while the written examination in March 2022. The decision was made after taking into consideration the current situation and challenges that SPM 2021 candidates have to go through.
Malaysian Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Tun Hussein is unable to attend the special ASEAN-China Foreign Ministers meeting in Chongqing, China, which is scheduled tomorrow as he is undergoing quarantine for being in a close contact with a COVID-19 patient.
In a statement from the Malaysian Foreign Ministry as well as his official Twitter post today, Hishamuddin said he has been deemed a close contact by the Ministry of Health to a person who has been found positive after a COVID-19 PCR test. In his stead, Hishamuddin will be represented by Deputy Foreign Minister Datuk Kamaruddin Jaafar as the head of Malaysia's delegation to the special ASEAN-China Foreign Ministers meeting. Hishamuddin has also postponed his working visits to Egypt, Kuwait and Qatar to a new set of dates to be determined in consultation with the governments of these countries. The ministry is working closely with its counterparts in these countries for this purpose, it added.
Now wrapping up the 5 p.m. news, Chinese government is taking new measures to handle a herd of 15 wild elephants journeying hundreds of kilometers from their normal habitat with the help of drones. The latest footage shows video from high-tech drones, some of which have a heat-seeking function and can work at night.
The migrating herd of 15 wild elephants was still wandering near the central district of Kunming, capital city of Yunnan province, by Saturday morning, and all of them are in good conditions. The herd, who live in a nature 500 kilometers away, entered Kunming after walking more than 40 days, according to local authorities. On Friday, 630 police officers and 140 vehicles, including 14 drones, joined the operation to evacuate more than 135 households with 464 people along their migratory route. The wandering elephants have caused trouble for local residents, but there have been no conflicts between human and these wild animals. No one knows exactly why the herd of 15 elephants traveled all the way from their forest home, but authorities have mobilized thousands of people to monitor their migration and use food to lure them away from human settlements. Forest officials said that the northward migrating animal herd began its migration in March last year.
And that wraps up the 5 p.m. English news on TVS. As usual, don't forget to tune in for the Nightline at 11:30 p.m. with Ruben Gomez. With that, I'm Handy Gui and have a pleasant day.